How did this Indonesian leader go from a beacon of new hope to facing backlash online and in the streets?
Saya datang ke gedung DPR MPR ini untuk melakukan aspirasi masyarakat karena kondisi negara ini sudah tidak baik-baik saja. Negara ini sedang keadaan rusak kalau menurut saya, tidak benar. Apalagi kroni-kroni Jokowi itu.
Teman-teman, karena kita semua kecewa dan kita akan melawan.
President Joko Widodo is reaching the end of his second term, so he's been in office for 10 years. When he started, he was seen as this new hope, literally, that was on his Time magazine cover. And he was seen this way because he came from a very humble background. But now, people at the end of his term are seeing him more as like the old elites because of allegations of nepotism, and that he's been trying to build a political dynasty with his children. Both his sons are politicians. His oldest son is now the vice president-elect.
In recent months, just ahead of stepping down in October, Widodo apologized, not just once, but twice to the public.
Saya sangat menyadari bahwa sebagai pribadi yang jauh dari kata sempurna, sebagai insan yang tumbuh dalam keterbatasan, dan sebagai manusia yang jauh dari kata istimewa, sangat mungkin ada yang luput dari pandangan saya. Sangat mungkin ada celah dari langkah-langkah yang saya ambil. Dan sangat mungkin banyak kealpaan dalam diri saya. Saya dan Profesor Kiai Haji Ma'ruf Amin mohon maaf untuk setiap hati yang mungkin kecewa, untuk setiap harapan yang mungkin belum bisa terwujud, untuk setiap cita-cita yang mungkin belum bisa tergapai.
So what was he apologizing for? He's been accused of creating a political dynasty. His son, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, was granted the right to run as vice president, despite a previous minimum age requirement.
That was a constitutional court decision that was presided over by Joko Widodo's own brother-in-law, in which they changed the law so that allowing him to run.
The latest scandals have highlighted Widodo and his family living in luxury as the country faces growing inequality. Indonesia's middle class shrunk by nearly 10 million people between 2019 and 2024, according to national statistics. And yet, Widodo's son, Kaesong Pangarep, was recently seen online flying on a private jet.
His wife posted a photo on Instagram showing them, and Indonesian internet detectives figure out this was a private, fancy jet that they took. So there was questions about did he take a private jet? Who paid for it? Whose jet was it?
Local media reports found that the private jet was a Gulfstream G650ER, which costs an average 300 million rupiah per hour to rent. Many Indonesians took to social media to criticize their lavish lifestyle. Kaesong's wife, Irina Gudono, recently gained admission to the prestigious University of Pennsylvania on a scholarship. A social media campaign quickly asked the university to scrap the financial aid, saying she doesn't need the money. Gudono is also Widodo's daughter-in-law.
This campaign to get her scholarship revoked is just another example of how the Indonesian people are really disillusioned with Widodo's family, and they see them as just another, corrupt elite political family like many others in Indonesia that bend the rules to whatever they want.
After 10 years in office, Widodo will hand over the seat of power to Prabowo Subianto, along with his oldest son Gibran as vice president. Will Indonesians forgive him and forget the controversies?
Most striking examples of how Indonesians are upset with Widodo is that they've taken to calling him Mulyono online. This was his name when he was first born, and it was changed when he was a child because he was a sickly child, so it was seen as changing his name would help him get better health, a better life. So people are sort of dead naming him Mulyono to show that they are unhappy with him and kind of like they want to curse him.
In August, Widodo proudly highlighted his economic and developmental milestones, particularly in infrastructure. He touted the construction of 2,700 kilometers of new toll roads and a 5% growth in the country's GDP. Widodo has also overseen the early stages of moving the capital to Nusantara to avoid future catastrophe in Jakarta from climate change and overpopulation. But ultimately, his controversies, instead of his achievements, may stand out most in how history remembers his leadership.